It is January 1st, 2022. Happy New Year, everybody. I am in the RV. My wife is sitting behind me in a Chevy van. We are headed out from Nashville, Tennessee, North Nashville, Tennessee, and we are on our way to St. Petersburg, Florida. We got to make a few stops along the way, so bear with me. Gotta go say goodbye to my granddaughter. Alright, here we go. And we gotta stop and get some diesel fuel in this big rig. It's a 100-gallon tank, so it eats a lot of fuel, as you can imagine. So we're gonna get going. They're talking about a lot of serious storms today, all across the southeast and the central part of the country. Possible tornado outbreaks. Where I'm at right now, we do have a tornado watch and flash flood watch for the day. And it does look pretty cloudy outside. Some nasty looking clouds. Actually, they're beautiful to me, but to some folks, I guess, they're nasty. And it is quite breezy. For this time of the year, January 1st, it is like in the 60s. This is beautiful, beautiful weather. I can definitely handle this. Wish it was like this all year long. Of course, in 3 days, I'm going to be in St. Petersburg, Florida, so the weather will be a lot better for me. So my granddaughter's house is right here. So I'm gonna have to get out just for a few minutes if y'all don't mind. So I just want to go say goodbye to her and give her something that I've been wanting to give her. So hold on, everybody. I will be back shortly. Adjust this camera. Get a better view, maybe. Mess with that when I get back. Alright everybody, I'm back. We are now going to head down to a Kroger fuel station in Goodlettsville, Tennessee. Because I've got about 35 gallons of diesel fuel that I'm going to get for free. And I'm not going to pass that up, so here we go. The storms are actually going to be behind us. We're going to be traveling in a southeasterly direction from Nashville down to Florida. And the storms are actually going to be all behind us as we go. They're going to kind of follow us in a way. They're moving a little bit more to the northeast, but it's a pretty long line that's coming down. The bottom end of it, it's going to hit Tennessee and Alabama and Georgia. I think they had a tornado in Georgia during, I don't know if it was overnight or yesterday while it was so light outside, I'm not sure. I know they had some tornado damage. It wasn't serious damage, but any damage is enough damage. So, and thankfully, hopefully nobody was seriously injured or there was no loss of life. And let's see, here we go. Check my camera angle here. Make sure my camera's good. Make sure I'm getting a good view here. I don't want to be all crazy looking. I'll have to wait till I get out onto the highway for that. Here we go, back around the same circle. Oh, there's Julie's Uncle Billy, my wife Julie. That's her uncle right there. You can't see him in the picture, but that's him. Turn. There we go. There we go. Oh, my wife's got to say goodbye to her uncle. I can see it in my rearview mirror. She's a very emotional person. She cries easily and she's got to say goodbye to everybody, which you can understand. When you're leaving your family, it can be stressful. It's an exciting time and adventure, but it can be stressful at the same time. Anyone that's ever moved to another state, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's not easy leaving family and friends that you've known. You know, family you've known, of course, forever, and friends that you've known for years. It's not easy. But sometimes it is good to move on and just get out into the world and leave your little corner, your little space that you've always been in, and see what else is out there and explore and meet new people and experience new adventures and new ways of living, different ideas. It's good. You know, back in the olden days, like in the 1800s, early 1900s, a lot of people just didn't really move. Where they were born, that was pretty much it. They stayed in that same little area, the same little neighborhood that they were born in. They lived there and died there. Lived there all their life and died. My mom and dad, the house I grew up in, my dad was actually born in the house right down the street on the corner, and then he ended up buying a house halfway up the block in the city, and that's where he lived most of his life, and he died there, which is crazy. So he lived in that one little square block area. That was his whole life. That was his neighborhood. He didn't really know much of anything else. That's insane how people were back then. Of course, but travel was a lot harder years ago, especially in the horse and buggy days. I mean, it took months to get from the East Coast to the West Coast. Now it's, get on a plane, you're there in a couple hours. It's pretty dang easy. There's nothing to it now. Not like it was way back when. Times have changed. Come on, traffic, so I can go. Yeah, this is going to be a beautiful day. All the clouds in the sky. There's this cumulonimbus clouds everywhere. Oh, it's beautiful out. I love it. Oh, that sun's bright. It sure does feel good, though. Let me get over in the right lane where I'm alone. I'm driving a 40-foot diesel RV. Being in the left lane's not the best place for me to be and make a lot of people mad. That's when road rage begins. So that's for me to stay in the right lane where I can go nice and slow, which is no big deal. That's what I need to do. I'm driving a 20-ton RV, 40,000 pounds. So I definitely need to be in the lane I belong in, which is where I'm at. Maybe that's better. Adjust the seat a little bit. Make myself sit up a little bit better. I'm in no hurry. We've got 3 full days to get there. We're going to take our time, make a few stops, sightsee. There's no reason to rush. It's roughly a 12 to 15 hour drive, just depending what speed you go. And of course, me being in the big RV, I'm not going to be going 90 miles an hour. So it's just a nice little trip. Take our time, relax, enjoy these beautiful. Look at those clouds. Isn't that awesome, everybody? That is beautiful right there. I'm going to watch the road, not the clouds. I'm going to do a curb check with this big RV if I keep looking at the clouds. But that is beautiful, definitely. Off this curve and I can finally adjust my camera. I want you all to have a better view of everything. I want you all to see what I'm seeing. I want you to enjoy the beauty. Ooh, it's windy too. It's gonna be fun driving this RV in the wind. The camera's starting to lay a little bit to the right. I'm tilted a little. There we go. How was that? A little bit better view of the road and the clouds. There we go. All right, here we go. Going down Highway 41 South. Off we go. I appreciate y'all watching. I appreciate y'all coming along for the ride, and I hope you enjoy. Because I know I am. Now, I love me a good nader. I don't want to be caught in one, especially in an RV, because this thing will flip and fly all over the place. I don't think I'll survive crashing in this thing. But I do love a good storm. I'm just hoping the winds that I'm talking about aren't going to be too severe while I'm driving this thing down the road, because driving this big RV, any of you that has ever driven an RV, if you own an RV, you know. It's just like driving a semi-truck, boy. This thing blows all over the place. It's hard to keep this thing under control when the winds are whipping. That's the last thing I want to do is have this thing tip over on me. Like you see in other videos with semi-trucks laying in the road. Because the wind just knocked them right over. Oh, that's beautiful right there. I love it. That's beautiful right there. I love it. That is beautiful right there. There we go. My steering wheel was tilted up a little bit too much. I had to adjust. Now I feel better. I am good to go. That van right there in front of me, my wife usually drives behind me and follows. For some reason she decided to jump out in front, that's perfectly okay with me. That is my wife in that vehicle right there. I couldn't tow it. I would love to tow the vehicle instead of driving 2 separate vehicles, burning up more fuel, but that vehicle there is a rear wheel drive vehicle. And if you're not aware, you cannot tow a rear wheel drive vehicle with an RV, because even if you put it in neutral, it still will destroy the transmission. This RV is capable of towing vehicles. It is set up to tow. But I never had the special drive shaft made for that van right there, that Chevy van. I had to have a drive shaft made. It was called a detachable drive shaft, where it actually separated was a special link in between the drive shaft where it actually separated it in two separate pieces, so it was actually towable. Because even when it's in neutral, the drive shaft does still spin underneath. I didn't know if you knew that, and that just tears up the transmission, so we cannot tow it. Now, if it was a front-wheel drive, no problem. Every RV that's towing a car, they're all front-wheel drive cars, because it does not. I'm not sure how the front-wheel drive is designed. I'm not a mechanic by any means, so I'm not quite sure how that design and what the differences are between rear-wheel drive and front-wheel drive. But it does not affect the towing a vehicle. Does not affect the transmission if it's a front-wheel drive as compared to a rear-wheel drive. So that makes all the difference. But it would be nice to be able to tow that big old heavy van, so we weren't burning up gas. But we'll be all right. I've got lots of cashback rewards on my debit credit card that I've been saving just to help pay for all this fuel. So a lot of our fuel we actually are going to use. The vast majority of our fuel is going to be free, or it's going to be very reduced price. So we're not paying too much for diesel and gas. So we are happy about that. I'm not going to lie to you. And this truck is next to me is going a little slow. It kind of makes me nervous. All right, here we go down the ridge. Say goodbye to Ridgetop, Tennessee. Oh, look at them clouds. Isn't that beautiful? Look at that. Big old blanket of clouds right there. Awesome. I love it. Big old blanket of clouds. I love it. Go, Florida, here we come. Roughly 850-mile drive. We are in no rush. Got 3 whole days to get there. It won't take us 3 days to get there. Gonna drive about maybe 4 to 6 hours. Probably 5 to 6 hours per day. We should be there. And we check in on the 4th, which is Tuesday morning. We check in, set up the RV, get everything hooked up, and we are home. can't tell by the phone shaking a little bit, Nashville, Tennessee does have some pretty crappy roads. But almost everywhere you live does have some roads that are always questionable. But Tennessee does get very cold in the winter. It does get in the 20s and the teens. A lot of freezing, so that's what does most of the damage. Most of the damage to roads is actually done by freezing and thawing and freezing and thawing. That's why when you go farther south, like maybe again Florida, there were stretches of roads that we've been on before. I mean, they were just perfect and they were smooth and wonderful. But down there, they don't get the freezing and thawing cycles over and over again because it doesn't freeze. You know, farther down south, up in the northern parts of Florida, occasionally, every once in a great while, it does get close to freezing, or a little bit under. You know, it does get freezing or colder. But as you go farther south, that just doesn't happen there. Sorry for that bump. Yeah, the roads here are just not good. Over the last couple, we've noticed over the last couple of years, we've been living here quite a few years here in Nashville. And over the last couple of years, the roads have really, they've really deteriorated quickly, and they're not getting repaired. Yeah, the roads are, they've changed quite a bit over the last few years. They're much worse now than they ever have been. So, it is what it is. You just gotta deal with it. Next phone holder I got to get for my dashboard. I got to get a phone holder with a stabilizer built into it, so I can get a better quality video without all the vibration. I've got a Amazon shopping cart filled with a bunch of cameras, filters, lenses. I do have the stabilizers for the dashboard, thing with the huge suction cups, the built-in stabilizer. I've got a whole bunch, about a little over $7,000 worth of stuff. But I've just got to kind of wait on my, got some stocks, some investments I'm waiting for them to make some money for me so I can take out a little bit of profit and get all that equipment so I can start using, learn how to use this better quality equipment so I can get better quality images. Right now, all you're watching right now is a Samsung Android phone hooked up to a Walmart dashboard, phone holder, charger. That's what you're looking at right now. Which doesn't provide the best picture quality, but when that's all you've got to work with and you're starting, I guess you don't complain and you just you say thank you and you're grateful for it. And some folks don't even have that. Alright, let's go hit this Kroger. I don't know if any of y'all ever been to Goodlettsville, Tennessee. But fun fact, Garth Brooks lives here somewhere. Country singer legend Garth Brooks. I'm not much of a country music fan myself. I don't find nothing wrong with it, it's just not my thing. But Garth Brooks does live somewhere around here in Goodlettsville. I'm just not quite sure where. And I'm sure he doesn't want me to know where he lives. It's kind of a privacy thing. I'm sure he'd rather have this privacy. I'm sure he's got security around, as famous as he is. So, a little interesting tidbit about Goodlettsville, Tennessee, home to Garth Brooks. Of course, it's just maybe a few miles down the road, 5, 6, 7 miles down the road is Hendersonville, Tennessee. That's, of course, where Johnny Cash lived for years. To my knowledge, the family, like the son, and I believe the son and all that, they still live there in Hendersonville. To my knowledge, I'm not 100% certain about that, but I believe so. But Johnny Cash did live there for years before he did passed away a few years back. All right, Kroger fuel station, give me some free diesel. That's what I'm talking about. I like free. Free is the best price, so especially when you're driving a gas guzzling rig like this. This RV gets about 8 to 9 miles a gallon. That's awesome. That's fuel economy right there. Come on. Come on. So here we go. Where's the car going? Diesel. Oh, there it is. Oh, I'm hitting it the wrong way. Oh, I'm gonna have to back up. Shoot, I'm gonna have to pass it up. I have to back up. I'm gonna have to back up the lineup. And if you've never driven a truck, a full-size semi truck, or anything like that, boy, it's a challenge. I'll tell you that. It's not difficult. It's just you don't know what these truck drivers go through, what they have to deal with as far as, you don't know what these truck drivers have to deal with. Let me get that video on so I can see the backup camera right there. I got a backup camera on this thing. Yeah, I have to wait for it to load up. I should have turned it on already. There it is, backup camera. Now I can back up without hitting anything. I love that.